Hello and welcome back finally to the Gipton War Room. It's been a long time. It's a bolt action battle report. It's British Airborne versus German. It's France 1942. It's the raid on the Bruneval radar site. Just want to begin by saying a big thank you to everyone that's subscribed. I know it's been a long time since my last video. Apologies for that. The reasons being there's a whole host. There's all sorts of things that could go wrong, did go wrong. Family illnesses, injuries, work issues. The war room became a storeroom. But the main thing is we're back now, and hopefully we can crack on and start to get some good videos and good battle reports coming out in the next few months. Right, just quickly go over some of the terrain features and the buildings that we've got. The radar site is an MDF kit. It's from Sarissa Precision. I've simply put it in a little base using polystyrene and modelling compound. The roads are made from the cut-up carpet tile system that I use. The walls, they're just scratch built from cork and balsa wood, as is the chateau. That's a scratch build using foam card. The bunkers that you can see down here, these are also scratch built, polystyrene and modelling compound, just made on bases with some cocktail sticks and gauze for netting. The houses that you can see down here at the bottom, they are Charlie Foxtrot MDF ones, just put on a base. The bocage, again, they're scratch built, just using rubberized horsehair, modelling compound, polystyrene, that sort of thing. These trees are scratch built. They're actually twigs that I collected from France earlier on this year, and just using rubberized horsehair and foliage and glue and what have you. So yeah, let's have a look at the forces and the objectives. Very quickly before we go on to the force and the objectives in the game, just thought I'd show you the scratch built chateau that I've done. Now it's made from this foam, hard density foam. Basically cut out the shape, make it all together, cover it in sand. There's balsa wood. The shutters are made out of textured paper. The windows are actually all plastic card that I've made. It all kind of lifts off. Quite pleased with it, and hopefully it should be featuring in quite a few games to come. Okay, the Germans are all regular. They are led by a first lieutenant and 2 men. There is a 5-man guard section in the chateau, 1 SMG NCO. There's a fixed MG42 mini machine gun, a mortar and spotter. There's a guard section of 8 men, NCO with 1 SMG and 1 LMG. And in reserve, there's 1 first lieutenant with 2 men, 2 SDKFZ 251s, Hanemags, both with mounted MG42s, and 3 10-man sections, NCO led with an SMG and 1 light machine gun. Okay, the British are all veteran and they have the blood-curdling charge. They're led by Major Frost with 2 men. There's a sniper team, a Piat team, and an RAF technician accompanying them. There is also a Vickers medium machine gun team. The rest of the force is split into 5 fighting sections. They are named Hardy, Jellicoe, Drake, Nelson and Rodney, and there is also a lieutenant and 2 men. Hardy consists of 8 figures, 4 armed with SMGs and 1 light machine gun. Jellicoe and Drake are both 8 figures strong, again 1 NCO armed with an SMG and 1 light machine gun. Nelson and Rodney are 10-man sections, and they also have 1 SMG NCO and 1 light machine gun each. Okay, so the Germans begin with a 5-man unit inside the chateau. Again, they are the guards or the sentries. There's an officer and 2 men at the radar site, a medium machine gun in a bunker, a mortar with spotter in another bunker, and inside one of the buildings is an 8-man section. Right, German reinforcements can begin rolling to come on from turn 3. On a score of 1 to 4, they'll come on from point B on the map, which is in the direction of Le Presbytère. On a 5, they can come on from anywhere on the eastern edge of the table. And on a 6, they come on from point C on the map, which represents coming from the direction of Bruneval. On turn 1, Frost will lead Hardy, Jellicoe and Drake forces from the eastern edge of the table. From turn 4, the British reinforcements of Nelson and Rodney can begin entering from point D on the map, or the southern edge of the table, but they do so on a -1 to roll modifier. Okay, the objective of the game. The attacking British forces must neutralise the guards in the chateau, attack the radar station, neutralise the operatives around it, spend one move. They must have one paratroop squad that must spend one move at the radar station, dismantling obviously the technical components. They then must fight their way down to the escape point here at point D with the marker that they obtain from the radar site to obtain victory. German reinforcements will be coming on from turn 3, and again they will be increasing in number, as with this being a night fighting scenario, units that take casualties or are destroyed can obviously then come back as fresh reinforcements throughout the game. This just emphasises how heavily outnumbered the paratroop forces were compared to the garrison troops that were stationed nearby. The game will last 6 turns. Okay, one last thing regarding the board and the terrain. Houses and the chateau are hard cover and block line of sight. The walls are also hard cover but don't block line of sight. All the liching on the table just counts as soft cover, non-sight blocking. The machine gun pits and bunkers are hard cover inside and out if you're firing over them, but again they do not block line of sight. The compound or the bunker system that the radar site is in, that is hard cover and does block line of sight if you're inside or outside, etc. The bocage, the dense terrain at the bottom again here, they do block line of sight and do also count as hard cover. The woods, soft cover, block line of sight. However, if you're in, you can fire out but can't fire through them. This scenario can be downloaded from Warlord Games as a PDF, which is what I've done. It's been a while since I've done a bolt action battle report, so there may be a few mistakes, so you'll have to forgive me. But we'll go on to onto turn 1 and let's start the action. In the darkness, the Germans can hear distant aircraft engines and an air raid siren, but have no idea what's in the skies above them and what is going to befall them this night. Okay, so the first die drawn is British, and Frost being a major issue is a snap 2 with 4 orders. He orders Jellicoe and the sniper to run onto the board just to the left of the chateau. He himself runs on with Drake, again heading in the direction of the presbytere. And he orders Hardy to run and assault the guards inside the chateau. With a blood-curdling charge, Hardy Group assaults the chateau. The Germans do not get time to react. The British need 4s for the Germans being regular. There are 4 tough fighters with the British, represented with the blue die, needing 4s for casualties. That's 2 casualties with the tough fighters, none with the others. Can they do? And that's another 2 casualties with the tough fighters. So 4 casualties for the Germans. Okay, rolling the 6 for the exceptional. No. So the sergeant gets to fight back for the Germans. Single German tough fighter fighting back against Hardy, needing 5s. No. So the entire German guard within the chateau are wiped out. Having won the combat, the British troops consolidate, roll a 5, and again advance outside the chateau towards the radar bunker. German die, and hearing gunfire and explosions behind them, the machine gun team turn to face the chateau. The next die again is German, and having heard the commotion coming from the chateau, the section in the house goes on ambush. German again, and the lieutenant and these 2 orderlies servicing the radar, hearing the commotion, also go on ambush. The next 2 dice are British, and the Piet and Vickers both run on into the chateau, following Hardy towards the radar station. German die, and the mortar team repositions itself facing the chateau, having heard all the noise, whilst the spotter positions himself in the top of the house, overlooking the chateau and radar station. The remaining dice are all for units that are off table in reserve. They all go down, so we move on to turn 2. Okay, turn 2, and the German lieutenant remains on ambush by the radar station, as does the section inside the house who heard the gunfire coming from the chateau. The first die out the bag is British. Okay, so Frost issues another snap 2. He himself runs towards the radar station, ordering Hardy to continue their charge in the same direction. The Piat team and Vickers team run from the chateau, taking up position along the wall to cover towards Le Presbytère, as does Drake, who he also orders to run up to the hedge, gaining some soft cover, and again taking up position ready to cover any Germans that do come from the direction of Le Presbytère in turn 3. Another British dice, and Jellicoe continue their advance, running towards the direction of the German bunkers and also radar station. Okay, the German unit inside the house, hearing movement in the distance, spring their ambush and look to fire towards Jellicoe. It's a range of 20 inches. However, with the night fighting rules, they have to roll to see if they spot first. They roll 2d6, scoring a 9. 6 is added to it because Jellicoe have run, but that only comes to 15 inches. So again, they spring the ambush, but they can't fire. The German medium machine gun opens fire into the darkness towards Hardy. However, they only score an 8, and even with the +6 of Hardy having an order die for running, only comes to 14. The Germans needed a 16 to be able to hit Hardy as it advanced or ran. The Germans blaze their machine gun into the darkness. No hits. The German die again, and the mortar this time, with the spotter's assistance, tries to fire a round at Jellicoe. However, with the night fighting rules, also fails, and the round disappears into the darkness. British die, and the sniper team run up to the hedge. The remaining dice are all for units in reserve, both British and German, and they all go down, and we move on to turn 3. Okay, the all-important turn 3. It's been going pretty well so far for the British. They've made good progress, but this is the turn where the German reinforcements now, hearing all the commotion, the alarms raised, and they can now start to make their way down towards the chateau and the radar station to see what the commotion is. The first die out of the bag is German. Okay, the first die is German, and the first lieutenant passes his order test, issues a snap 2, and gets 2 of the sections to advance onto the table. They both pass their order test and come on, with one section and the first lieutenant going to be opening fire on Drake, and the other section going to be opening fire on Hardy as it's crossing the road. That's if they can see it with the night fighting rules. Okay, the first section failed to spot. The lieutenant did, and he will be opening fire. The second section, though, again, failed to spot Hardy as it was crossing the road. And their shots, although they opened fire, all just blaze into the darkness. Okay, the German lieutenant opens fire with his SMG. 2 shots, needing 5 for long range and soft cover. And that's 1 hit. He needs a 5 to cause a casualty. No, so that's a pin at least on the unit. The 2 riflemen open fire, also needing a 5. That's a base of 3. They've moved 4, soft cover 5. That's 1 hit. Again, needing a 5 for a casualty. And it is. Can it be an exceptional? No. So that's 1 casualty on that unit. Okay, British die, and Frost orders a snap 2. He orders Hardy to assault the radar station. Within 12 inches, they can make that. He himself is also going to continue to run towards the radar station. He orders the Piat team to advance up to the hedge here, and he orders Drake if it passes its morale, loses its pin, to return fire against the Germans. We'll do the assault first. Okay, for the night fighting rules, Hardy rolled 10, which gave them 10 inch, which was enough to get them inside the compound to attack the officer and the 2 orderlies servicing the radar. Hardy has 4 tough fighters, represented again by the blue dice. The Germans are regular, so again, the British just need 4s to cause casualties. The officer and the 2 orderlies are wiped out. Okay, Hardy rolls its consolidation, and it can consolidate itself 5 inches. Okay, Hardy, having wiped out the Germans at the radar station, now consolidate against the bunker walls. Frost himself runs to join them. The Piat team advances over. Drake passes its order test and will fire back at the Germans. They're going to fire back at the German lieutenant, who has a muzzle flash marker, because obviously he's open fired and the shots have counted, whereas the others that just went to fire and don't spot, they do not get the muzzle flash marker. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier on is that the Germans rolled a 4 for the reinforcements of the lieutenant and the 2 sections that he snapped to and brought on. That's why they all came on in the area of Le Presbytère. Okay, let's see how Drake gets on at returning fire at the Germans. Okay, the SMG is going to fire first. It gets 2 shots. It's long range and hard cover, so it's needing 6s. Both missed. The 4 riflemen will fire back next. Again, it's hard cover, not long range, so they only need 5s. Missed all of them. Okay, finally, it's the light machine gun. The Bren's going to open fire. Again, needing 5s just for hard cover. 4 hits and possibly 1 exceptional. Sorry. We'll roll the exceptional again. See if we can convert these 2 wounds, needing 4s. That's 2 dead. So that's a morale check for the lieutenant. Okay, the German officer is regular, however does get a +2. So although it will be 9, it's -1 down to 8 for the pin marker. However, he gets +2 for being a first lieutenant, so it's 10. So 11 or 12 he'll fail. He passes. Okay, German die, and the Hanomag passed its order test. Rolled a 1, entered from the direction of Le Presbytère. It advanced 9 inches, but on a road it becomes 18 inches, and it's allowed 2 pivots, which it does, which gets it to here. And it's going to see if it can spot an open fire on Frost as he's in the open running towards the bunker. This could be a game-changing moment if he spots and opens fire. Okay, the German unit spotted Frost. It's going to be 4s to cause casualties. It's advanced, but it is just outside of point blank. So 6 shots for the medium machine gun, needing 4s to cause casualties. That's 4 hits. Needing 5s to cause injury. That's 1. Could it be exceptional? No. So that's a pin on Frost unit and 1 casualty. Another German die. The Hanomag passed its order test, rolled a 1, enters from the direction of Le Presbytère. It advances on, pivots, and is going to open fire on Drake, who will not get any benefit of soft cover from the position of where the Hanomag is. It's literally point blank range. It's going to spot. Okay, the Hanomag spotted the British unit. It opens fires with 6 shots at point blank. So it's moved, so it goes from 3 to 4 for movement, -1 for point blank, 6 shots, needing 3s. That's 3 hits. Now needing 5s to cause casualties for the veteran paratroopers. 1 casualty, possibly exceptional, and it isn't. So that's 1 casualty and 1 pin on the British unit. British Angelico runs towards the German machine gun in the bunker, but carefully keeps out of its arc of fire. Okay, the German unit in the house open fire on Jellicoe, but they fail to spot, so their shots just go wildly into the darkness, causing no hits. A German die yet again, and the last remaining German unit in reserve passes its order test, enters the board, rolls a 1, comes from the direction of Le Presbytère, and runs on behind the two Hanemags. British die, and the sniper tries to pick a target in the house where the German section have been firing, but in the darkness fails to spot anyone. Okay, there was a British die put on one of the units in reserve as down. The next was German, and the medium machine gun used an advanced order to turn its position, aiming towards the advancing British airborne of Jellicoe. The next turn, who gets the first die could be crucial here. The next two die were both British, and again the reserve units of Nelson and Rodney both went down. The last die was German, and the mortar tried to fire at Jellicoe. It failed to spot, and the round just sailed into the darkness, causing no casualties. Okay, as turn 3 comes to a close, the British have achieved their objective. They've got to the radar station. They need to stay a full turn on it now before they can move off. The German reinforcements have all come on, and they've all come from the direction of Le Presbytère. Both sides have been taking casualties. The fact that it's in darkness and the night fighting rules are coming into play is making a significant difference. It's all to play for in turn 4, where crucially now the British reserves may start to enter onto turn 4. Okay, turn 4, and crucially the first die was British. Frost issued a snap 2. He passed his order test. He runs down towards the German machine gun bunker. Hardy now have the device, but must spend a full turn in the bunker of the radar station. He's ordered the Piat team to open fire against the Hanomag. The Vickers team goes on ambush. Drake passed its order test, and having done its initial job of stopping, or at least delaying, the Germans from the Presbytère in the face of overwhelming numbers, has run back towards the chateau rather than face annihilation. Okay, the Piat team, given the range and it's a vehicle, even in the darkness, automatically spot the Hanomag and open fire at point blank range, needing a 2 to score a hit. It's a hit. Okay, the Hanomag is 7, but it's a side shot, so it'll get the Piat will get a +1. So realistically, it's going to penetrate. Yeah, it's definitely damaged. Okay, that counts as massive damage, so we'll roll 2d6, and boom, the Hanomag explodes. The Hanomag explodes in a ball of flame, lighting up the area. A German dice, and the medium machine gun team is going to open fire on Jellicoe. And again, at this range, it will spot and will open fire. Before the Germans open fire, though, Jellicoe go down. Okay, the Germans open fire. At point blank, it would have been 2. However, with Jellicoe going down, it puts it back up to 4. German medium machine gun, 6 shots, needing 4s. That's 3 casualties, or 3 hits, needing 5s to convert to casualties. And that's 1. Could it be exceptional? No, it's not. So that's 1 casualty and 1 pin on Jellicoe. A German die, and the remaining Hanomag advances across the field, chasing the British airborne as they pull back towards the chateau. It's not quite point blank, but at this range, it will spot the British airborne and open fire with 6 shots. The Germans, naturally, of course, do spot and open fire with 6 shots, needing 4s for movement only. No hits. Unbelievable. Okay, German die, and the German section passes its spotting and assaults the Piat team. Okay, it's a 10-man German unit with 1 sergeant with SMG as a tough fight, which is the blue dice, attacking the Piat team, powers being veterans, so the Germans get 10 dice, needing 5s. Yes, the Piat team are destroyed. The Germans roll a 3-inch consolidation move, but before they do, the Vickers triggers its ambush, spots the Germans, opens fire. 5 shots, needing 3s against the German unit. 1 hit. Needing a 4 to kill? No, but 1 pin on the German unit, who now consolidates 3 inches. Okay, the Germans won the combat, wiped out the Piat team, took fire from the Vickers, lost a man, took a pin, but then advanced 3 inches towards the Vickers, ready for the next turn. The British die, and the lieutenant issues a snap to. He passes his order test, as does Nelson and Rodney, and they all enter from the woods and run in. Rodney runs into the building, facing the Germans in the opposite one, while Nelson and the lieutenant charge across the street towards the building, ready for the next turn. German die, and the section in the house turn to fire at Nelson as they race towards them. Now the German unit's actually on the ground floor, so it can only fire out of 3 openings. So there's going to be 1 light machine gun, 1 rifle, 1 SMG, 1 rifle, and 2 rifles. So 6 figures in total firing out of the building towards the British troops. It's a desperate move by the British. Will it backfire on them? The Germans are all firing from the bottom floor, opening windows and doors. It's within 6 inches, so it's point blank. So the Germans just needing 2s to cause hits. The SMG opens fire first. 2 hits. The 3 rifles open fire first. 2 hits. The light machine gun opens fire. 4 hits. All the Germans did pass their spotting test for the night fighting rules, now needing 5s to cause casualties. So that's 2 casualties, possibly exceptional. No, so 2 casualties and 1 pin on the British Nelson unit. That's quite fortunate given how close they were to the Germans. They were quite lucky there. German die, and the lieutenant passes his order test and issues a snap to both sections behind the wall in the presbytery. They all advance, however they fail to spot the British in the darkness, so again no firing takes place. Another German die, and the mortar fires again but fails to spot, so the round just sails into the darkness, causing no hits. The last die is British, and the sniper opens fire on the German section inside the house. He spots because he threw an 11 with the plus 6 inches for the Germans firing at Nelson. He opens fire. He just needs a 3 to hit, and he misses. Okay, it's the end of turn 4. There is a lot going on the table. The Germans are advancing down from the presbytery. Crucially, the British do now have the components and can start to make their way towards the escape point. The medium machine gun in the bunker is still holding them up. It's going to be critical what happens here next turn. The remaining units over near the chateau, again, their best option is to try and pull back and get away from the Germans. Over here, the forces of Nelson and Rodney have finally come on, took some damage, but again, it could be critical if they can get across, secure the escape point. The British still might do this. On to turn 5. Okay, the first dice out the bag is German, and the section in the house open fire again on Nelson at point blank. Nelson, go down. Okay, the Germans open fire again, this time needing 4s because Nelson have gone down. The SMG first. 1 hit. The 3 rifles. 3 hits. The light machine gun. 1 hit. Can they be turned into casualties? Needing 5s. And that's 2 casualties. 1 possible exceptional. No. So 2 casualties and a further pin on Nelson. German again, and the medium machine gun is going to open fire on Jellicoe. Point blank. Jellicoe going to go down. The Germans open fire. It's point blank, but they've gone down, needing 4s. 6 shots. 4 hits. That's another pin on Jellicoe. 5 to cause casualties. 2, 1 possible exceptional. No. So 2 casualties and a further pin on Jellicoe. So German die, and the lieutenant orders a snap to. The Hanomag and the units of German infantry both advance to within point blank of Drake and the Vickers machine gun and open fire. The British go down. Okay, the 6 rifles fire first, needing 3s because although they've moved, it's point blank. So that's 5 hits, needing 5s for casualties. That's 2 dead. The light machine gun now opens fire. Again, needing 3s. That's 3 hits. Just needs 1 more. No. The SMG opens fire. 2 hits. Needing... Yep, the Vickers is wiped out. Okay, the Hanomag opens fire. Needing just 3s. Although it's moved, it's point blank. 6 shots. 6 hits. That's a pin on that unit. Turn them into casualties, needing 5s. Oh, that's 5 casualties with 2 possible exceptionals. No, 5 casualties and 1 pin. I believe that's a morale test on that unit. Okay, with 5 casualties and only 1 figure remaining, actually rolled 12, failed its morale test, and the remaining figure surrendered to the Germans. So Drake has been destroyed. Okay, British die, and the lieutenant orders Rodney to assault the Germans in the house. They pass their spotting roll. They're within the distance, and they're going to attack the Germans, while he himself then runs behind the house towards the escape point. Okay, force Rodney past its spotting roll and attack the Germans. 10 going in, 1 tough fighter, needing 4s against the regular Germans in the house. So that's only 3 hits, 3 kills. The Germans fight back with 5 figures, one of those being a tough fighter, needing 5s. Only 1. So the Germans killed 1 figure, but lost the combat and are wiped out. Okay, Rodney, having won the assault, rolled a consolidation of 4 inches and just moved outside of the house, facing the rear of the mortar bunker. Okay, the next die was British, and Frost issued a snap 2 for Hardy to try and assault the Germans in the machine gun bunker. However, they failed to spot and failed, so didn't make the assault. And I think at this point in turn 5, albeit the British look like they've secured or going to secure the escape route, at this stage, there's no way that Hardy is going to make it off the board within the 6 turns. So we'll call it here, and then I'll have a little recap of the table. Well, it was an enjoyable first game back after such a long break. I think, honestly, probably the size of the table and the distances, it was too much for the British to maybe achieve within 6 turns. Certainly, the Germans came on, did a lot of damage to the delaying force. The medium machine gun in the bunker, again, that kind of caused a few problems, as did the section in the house. There were no German reinforcements that came on from the bottom of the table or from the on the far eastern edge. An enjoyable game. I think if it had gone on longer with more turns, I think the British probably would have got off. I think it's fair to say that they would probably secure the escape point at some point. Hardy and the rest of them would be able to overcome the machine gun bunker and then make its way down off the table. It was just nice to be able to have a game, get the stuff on the table after so long. I have no doubt I've made absolutely loads of mistakes. Yeah, it's been a while. Please feel free to put in the comments. I may have missed some things off while I've been going through some of the die rolls, spotting and what have you. But yeah, overall enjoyable. I hope everyone's kind of liked it. Like the terrain, like what you see. I will come back with some more now. I've kind of got my mojo back and I've got my gaming room back. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Thank you for watching.